Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Batman Arkham Knight for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC from Rocksteady Games, Warner Brothers. So I'm not going to be talking about the PC version at all. I know there's been a lot of issues with it. In fact, Warner Brothers pulled it. This is strictly based on my time playing it on the PlayStation 4. So that's just a quick disclaimer. So this is the technically fourth game in the Batman Arkham series, the third done by Rocksteady. It takes place a year or two after the events of Arkham City and is the concluding arc for this series. And if you thought Arkham City was good, Arkham Knight's like so much better. I didn't think that was possible. It definitely goes out on a high note, and so let's get straight to the review.
This is how it happened. This is how the Batman died.
So as I said earlier, the story of Arkham Knight takes place a few years after the death of Joker. In fact, the game opens up with you cremating Joker's body just to drive home the point that Joker is dead. The city has, had kind of a time of peace that they knew was kind of going to break as soon as one of the other criminals decided, to just kind of try to take over what the Joker was doing. And that void is filled by Scarecrow, who unleashes a new form of his fear toxin, or at least threatens to do it on the city. It is up to Batman to stop Scarecrow, who has employed all of the villains of Gotham, as well as hiring the Arkham Knight, a mysterious man who's dressed a little bit more like Batman, but more military-esque. And Batman's pretty much fighting for his life. There's a lot of good twists and turns that I don't want to spoil, but it's a very good roller coaster of emotions and events. It's really, really good. Rocksteady did a good job of wrapping up the storyline, as well as kind of redeeming, even though they didn't work on Origins, but kind of a little slower arc that was in Origins. Although Origins does play a major part in this game as well. Still. Gameplay for Arkham Knight is still very similar to how it worked in City and Origins and things. You still have, basic attack, counter, dodge, and stun, as well as your quick takedowns, special takedowns, quick gadgets, to just build up as many combos as you possibly can. So the new things, at least for combat, are you actually can team up with certain other heroes or villains like Nightwing, Catwoman. At certain points of the game, you can do special takedowns with them as well as play them, which is really nice. A nice thing. Also added into the combat is the Batmobile. The Batmobile is summonable in certain areas, and you can drive around it, turn into a tank, and start blowing crap up. Suppression fire, rockets. There's a lot of drones that you have to take out, as well as just shooting riders on the streets, which is always fun. You can't really use it for the combat, at least for the hand-to-hand combat, but it's still fun to jump in if you're running around the city and you get attacked, just call them the Batmobile. People run for their lives when they see that thing. It's great. Controls for the Batmobile are okay. It's definitely fast and easy to get around with. I just have problems with the drift system, but that's because I suck at driving. So I'm not going to really hold it against it for my lack of driving skills. Let's see, side quests are back, different villains, and it's more akin to how they worked in Origins, where you have, instead of your assassins and rogues that you could track for their kind of their storyline side quests, it's more of just it's a circle with all the villains. So it's very similar. The difference in this one is it doesn't tell you where they are. You kind of have to just roam the city, listen to police reports to get hints on where the next part of that chain will happen. A good example of this is there's one that involves finding firefighters around the city. While you can fly around the city looking for them, you may not find them until a copter comes around and goes, hey, there's a police officer at so-and-so location. It will then update your quest log with it, and you can track that. There's a lot of side quests, a lot of areas, and the map is huge and multi-layered. It is ridiculous how big this thing is. Flying around is, a good way to survey the area, but not a good way to get around the entire city. Sorry. Which is made up of 3 different islands. The gameplay, other than that, I mean, it's really solid. Yeah, it's just basically adding more to the already exist awesome systems that Arkham City and Arkham Origins have been using. The nice thing about this one, and I'll give props over Origins, is I'm really glad about the map. Is completely different, because the problem I had with Origins was it was pretty much the exact same map from City. This one's completely different, so you didn't know where everything was. And also want to give props to all the voice actors of this game, because their performances were phenomenal.
Explained fires in the last few weeks. Was there a common accelerant found at any of the crime scenes?
Sure. Petroleum-based napalm.
Thickened with polyisobutylene.
Poly what?
Firefly. That's who you were tracking.
Arkham Knight is definitely the ending a series on a high note. It starts fast, it ends great, and everything about this game I loved. There's only a couple of minor complaints with some of the gadgets. You didn't really get any real new ones, which is kind of disappointing. But other than that, the game's still rock solid and a great finale for Rocksteady. It's going to be hard to top this with any type of Batman game. I'm interested to see who takes over the mantle for another Batman game. I feel bad for them. So Arkham Knight, I'm obviously giving a buy rating. Next review, I don't think I actually have any reviews going up for the next few weeks. Sorry I've been posting a lot lately. Like I said, I've been really busy with doing this review, getting enough time on this, as well as, Final Fantasy Heavensward will probably be next week, since I should be done with all the endgame stuff by next week for Heavensward. But for the month of June, or July, I don't think there's really anything I'm going to review. I have to double check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure it's a dead month. Also, reminder that on Tuesday is the last day to get entries for the June giveaway. If you just need to leave a comment on any of the articles. Every comment on an article is an entry for a maximum of 31 entries. You also get bonuses for Patreon and stuff. But anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out rule3.com for all our news, postings, videos, Let's Plays. Citizen's been doing an XCOM, and I'm finishing up editing Magica, which should go up sometime soon, hopefully. Other than that, go to our Patreon page and please donate if you can. Every dollar helps us get to our first goal, which is giveaways every month. And like us Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. And until next time, always remember to trust in the rule of 3.